Hello, everybody out there in podcast world and podcast land. Welcome to the T2 podcast with your boy Justin J. Will, whatever you want to call me. Hope you guys are doing well out there on this Friday, man. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Sorry about Tuesday. I did not mean to ditch you guys at all. I did not do it maliciously. I was just busy doing other stuff. So I decided to go ahead and hold off on an episode. Instead of trying to rush one out, I was just going to wait till Friday. And here I am. So sorry for the wait. Got a few things to talk about. A few things I want to talk about, man. A few things on the brain. I want to get into the whole Cavs Warriors series that is going on right now as I record. Regardless of what happens tonight, I'm going to give you guys my opinion. Regardless of what happens tonight, basically I am set on one thing happening. So I'll tell you guys that. Also, get into a few NFL headlines, quick NFL stories, and I want to give my 2 cents on the whole Pusha T Drake beef. So, a few things to talk about. Like I said, man, like your local pastor tells you, I ain't gonna be long, so bear with me, man. So, anyway, let's hop right into it, man. So, Cavs and the Warriors. Cavs and the Warriors, man. We asked for it. Well, I guess we didn't necessarily ask for it, but we knew it was coming. I said that the Cavs would win in a Game 7 against the Celtics. And I knew that the Warriors would cut. Well, I ain't going to lie. Chris Paul kind of bailed me out a little bit. Because I honestly think that Houston probably would have won that series if Chris Paul would have been healthy for the last two games. But regardless, Golden State made it. And they are here. We got the Cavs and the Warriors. So, like I said, this game is going on now. LeBron James currently has, 22 points. Kevin Love, 11. Steph Curry has 11 points. KD is actually not playing that well. He's 4 of 11 with 11 points. Oh, my bad. Steph Curry has 15 points. My bad. Klay Thompson had a little scare earlier in the game where he got tripped by J.R. Smith, but he was able to come back. So, regardless of what happens tonight, man, regardless of what the outcome of this game is, I am set on the Warriors winning this series in 5. I think that they will win this series in 5 games. Regardless if they win tonight, and by the time you listen to this, they are 1-0, or vice versa. The Cavs end up winning tonight, and they are 1-0. I believe that the Golden State Warriors are going to win this game, are going to win this series in 5 games. Now, I know you guys Justin, you've been saying that the Cavaliers are going to get ramrodded in the finals if they make it. Well, okay. They 4-1 is, maybe 4-1 isn't necessarily ramrodded. I mean, but it's damn close, right? I mean, you won one game. So, whatever. But I think that LeBron James is going to be able to get you one. Like Stephen A. said about Allen Iverson. He'll get you one. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of changed my mind once I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, LeBron will get you one. And I think that the Warriors will end up having a game where the shots just don't fall. That's usually how it happens, right? That the shots just will not fall. Hey, it's a make or miss league at the end of the day, to be honest. Hell, you miss shots, you lose. You make shots, you win. So I think the Warriors have a game like that in them. I don't think it'll be tonight, but I think they have a game like that in them. So the Cavs will be able to capitalize on that. But regardless, they will end up winning one game, and I think that that's it. And I think that the Warriors will go on to win the series. The Warriors, bro, they remind me of Alabama. And maybe not necessarily Alabama of last year or the year before. I'm talking about the dominant Alabama teams. Not that they haven't been dominant lately, but they aren't as dominant. I'm telling y'all, they ain't dominant like they were back in 09, 2010 when they had Mark Ingram and Greg McElroy and Julio Jones. Just all those guys, man. All those Rob, what's his name? Rob Barron. Is it Ron Barron or Rob Barron? Mark Barron, my bad. Mark Barron. You had what's his name that plays defensive lineman for the Jags now. I forgot his name. But man, they had talent everywhere. From the offensive line to running back with Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson, even though he flamed out in the NFL. It looks like he's flaming out in the CFL too, or wherever the hell he's at. But they just had talent all over the place, man. And with Alabama, even though this still kind of sticks today, but back then for sure, like the only way you were beating Alabama was you had to play a perfect game. Like you had to play a perfect game. You not going like if you think you're about to be dropping interceptions all over the place and missing blocks, all that type of crap right there, and you think you finna win, it ain't happening against Alabama. It just ain't happening. You feel me? Like you are going to have to play a perfect game against Alabama in order to win against them. So either you're going to have to be on your P's and Q's and play a perfect game. You're going to have to make the interceptions when they're there. If there's a fumble, you have to pick it up and you have to recover it. There is no, Alabama fumbled the ball. Alabama got the ball back. Like, no, you have to capitalize on things. If you move the ball down to the red zone, okay, you need to score a touchdown. You do not need to kick field goals. You know what I'm saying? So you had that with Alabama, and either you had to play a perfect game, or you just had to hope, man, Alabama's just off. You just had to hope, man, that the quarterback just can't hit fish in the barrel. They just ain't into it. They're beating themselves, penalties, stuff like that. Like that's what the Warriors remind me of Alabama. You feel what I'm saying? Like you just have to hope that they're off. You have to hope that they're off. As I speak now, man, LeBron James has 24 points in the first half. He's 9 of 11. Kevin Love has 12. J.R. Smith miraculously has 7 points. Wow. Larry Nance Jr., 8 points off the bench. And the game is tied 56. Tied up at 56. LeBron James has 24 points in the first half. Okay. Steph Curry has 18. Like that's just that's what they do, man. That's what they do. Just like Alabama, they force you to play a perfect game. You're going to have to play a perfect game, man, in order to beat the Warriors. That's why I feel so confident in saying that they are going to win in 5. They're just that type of team. And KD isn't even really on. He's 4 of 11 right now. Now, obviously, when you guys listen to this, that could have changed. But right now, he's 4 of 11. 11 points. He does have 5 assists, though. But that's what they do to you, man. I keep making this announcement, man. When them bullets start flying, that there's not a vest in the world that can save you from the Warriors, dog. It ain't one. Not one. Not a one, man. I mean, the Cavs, you look at what they had last year, they had Kyrie. They don't have Kyrie this year. And even last year, they still got beaten with 5 games. Even with Kyrie. And they don't have anybody else on their team that remotely resembles Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? As far as playing with LeBron James. They don't have anybody like that. So that's what they do, man. The Warriors are gonna make you play a perfect game, just like Alabama. You're going to have to be Cam Newton special. Like you remember that game where Cam Newton brought his team down, like I think it was like 24 points or something. Some miraculous comeback against Alabama. Mark Ingram had that fumble. Like seriously, like that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take something like that. It's gonna take Superman. It's gonna take Superman, man. It's gonna take a Superman effort in order to beat the Warriors, man. Just like Jeff Van Gundy said earlier this year, he was like, man, everybody's talking about the Houston Rockets and all this, man. And you know, now granted, they had them on the ropes. I give you that. But like Jeff Van Gundy said, man, everybody's talking about this, that, and third, and yeah, this team may have a shot, that team may have a shot. Nobody's beating the Warriors this year, and they roll the same team out there next year. Nobody's beating them next year. That's what Jeff Van Gundy said, and I gotta agree. Unless the NBA, unless some teams around the league make some type of power move, like you're gonna have to do LeBron James to Philadelphia or something, or LeBron James to Houston, maybe. You know, maybe even a Houston, maybe a LeBron James and Paul George to LA type deal or whatever. I don't know, but something's gonna have to happen. Somebody's gonna have to make a power play. Somebody's gonna have to make a power move to stop this, because it ain't stopping. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. And unless somebody gets injured, that's the only way to stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way the Cavs can really have a chance at winning this series, to me, man, is somebody like the role players for the Cavs are going to have to play out of their mind. And once again, going back to that Alabama analogy, that's what they force you to do. You're going to have to play out of your mind. You got to play like Chris Paul was going off against them. That's what they force you to do. Clint Capella. Yeah, you're going to have to play that damn well in order to have a chance, in order to win. That's what we're going to force you to do, man. That's what we're going to force you to do. So their role players are going to have to play out of their mind. Like, I mean, J.R. Smith is going to have to revert back to, you know what I'm saying, 6th man of the year J.R. Smith, or, you know, the Denver Nugget J.R. Smith. George Hill, he's going to have to give you more than 3 points. That's for sure. They can't go, they can't have, the, you know, your backcourt can't have 3 points total. They definitely can't do that. The bench players, y'all going to have to come in and contribute. The Warriors, I don't know what's going on with Andre Iguodala. I don't know whether he'll even be back this series. I don't think they've said anything definitively about him being out for the rest of the series, but let's assume that he's back. Okay, you got to deal with it. So that's what the Warriors do, man. Just like Alabama, they force you to be great. You're gonna have to be great. You're gonna have to be, hey, LeBron James. You're gonna have to be 9 of 11 in the first half, 24 points. That's what you're gonna have to be if you want to stand a chance. And even then, we're knotted up at 56. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But I feel confident that regardless of what happens tonight, regardless of what happens in this game, that the Warriors will end up winning in 5. I just think that they'll end up winning in 5. You know, unless Steph Curry's ankles starts to give out on him, or Kevin Durant's knee starts to bother him, or something like that. It's going to have to take something like that. It's going to have to take J.R. Smith tripping Klay Thompson. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, because I know he didn't. He kind of just fell into him or whatever. But it's going to take that type of stuff, man. You're going to need that type of look in order to stand a chance. And right now, I don't give the Cavs a good shot at beating the Warriors. But it looks like a good game so far. So anyway, just my 2 cents on it, man. But that Golden State Warriors Alabama analogy, man, I think that really stands for something. I think that really that's really a thing right there. Like, that's a good comparison, and not just because I said it. You know what I'm saying? But you think about it, man. That's what Alabama does, man. It's kind of what the Patriots do too. They force you to be great. You're gonna have to be great against us. You're gonna have to be at Philadelphia. You want to beat us? Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to pull out a trick play to score a touchdown. Nick Foles, you are going to have to be pinpoint accurate. Alshon Jeffrey, you're gonna have to go up and make those catches. We're gonna force you to execute. Because we got Tom Brady over here. And we got cameras. I mean, good coaching. So, that's what it is, man. But regardless of what happens, like I said, game's happening now as I record. So, By the time you guys hear this, the game will be over and we will know the result. But regardless, I got Golden State winning this series in 5. So, anyway, moving on, man. I want to get into a few NFL topics, man. You know, we got this whole Andrew Luck thing, and you know, Peyton Manning actually came out and said, hey, he just needs reps. He needs the reps, man. Wonder what the hell is Peyton Manning doing nowadays? Like, do we know what Peyton Manning is doing? Like, he hasn't necessarily accepted a job anywhere, right? I mean, he isn't in the broadcast booth or anything of that nature. So I wonder what the hell Peyton Manning is doing besides driving mid-sized sedans and eating Papa John's all day. I wonder what he's doing. But anyway, yeah, you got the whole Andrew Luck situation going on, man. Something I've been wanting to talk about. I just hadn't talked about it for some reason. But yeah, apparently Andrew Luck has not thrown a full-size football in like a year or something. Well, first of all, for you guys who don't know, man, Andrew Luck, the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, his last game was December 2016. I don't have the exact date, but it was in the month of December in 2016. And he got hurt. And so he ended up sitting out all of last season. He had surgery last year. So he ended up sitting out all of last season. That was the whole thing with the Colts, and you had the GM coming out saying, oh, well, he'll be back, he'll be ready, and we want to take it slow, and all this, that, and the third. And then 1 week turned into 2 weeks. They signed Jacoby Brissett, to start the season. And then 1 week turned into 2 weeks, he'll be back. 3 weeks turned into 5, 5 turned into 10. Then next thing you know, they just said, screw it. We are going to shut him down for the whole season. Which I think that was a good idea. That's your franchise quarterback. Don't rush him back. He's young. Andrew Luck's 28. That's your franchise quarterback. You don't have a good offensive line. So he's probably just going to go back out there and get hurt. And you're probably not going to make too much noise anyway because of that roster. I made this point before, but I'm going to make it again. I did not know anybody outside of 2 players on the Colts defensive roster until somebody got killed. I knew Malik Hooker and I knew Darius Butler. Besides that, I did not know a soul on their defense until their linebacker got killed. RIP. Right, I did not know anybody on that defensive on the defense. So that tells you how terrible they are. And I'm in tune with the NFL. Like I know rosters. I could tell you names of guys on rosters that you wouldn't even have thought about or whatever. And I didn't know. So that should tell you something. But yeah, they made the right decision. He apparently, according to the reports, he's been throwing, I guess, smaller footballs, but he hasn't thrown an NFL regulation type football yet. So he's been working on his throwing motion, and apparently he's been going through exercises or whatever to change his throwing motion, to take some stress off his lower body or some crap like that. Like, it's almost on some Markelle Fultz type stuff, right? Maybe he's using the virtual reality goggles to change his motion, to change his shot, like Markelle Fultz did. Maybe he has to relearn how to play football or something, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he has to step into the virtual simulator to learn how to throw a football and read coverages and all that crap. I don't know, man, but it sounds really bad. If I'm a Colts fan, I'm nervous. Oh, I'm nervous as hell, partner. You mean tell me? Well, I guess that they haven't really been that transparent. They've been sort of transparent. Coming out saying, hey, he hasn't thrown an NFL size football or whatever. Okay, that's a little transparency, I guess. But what I was about to say is, man, are they bluffing? Are they bluffing here? Now, I don't know why they would bluff. I don't know why they would have anything to hide. necessarily. I mean, hell, if he's been throwing, he's been throwing. If he's been throwing NFL-sized football, I mean, damn, it's no smoke screen that you need to throw up. And you don't need to hide that from anybody, I don't think. I mean, if he's been throwing, he's been throwing. That's good. You want to, if I'm them, I want to be transparent and let my fans know, yeah, he's going to be back. He's doing his rehab. He's looking good. I wouldn't want to hide anything from him. I wouldn't want to hide anything necessarily. So I don't think that they're bluffing or whatever. But if I'm a Colts fan, I'm nervous. Oh, but I'm nervous. I mean, seriously. I mean, Andrew Luck has gotten hurt. I mean, he's gotten beat up back there in that pocket, man. And that's in part because they just have not given him a good offensive line. They have not given him a good offensive line. They have not given him a good running game. Regardless, he was still able to carry them. And this is coming from somebody who thinks that Andrew Luck is a tad bit overrated. You know what I'm saying? Because people just locked him into the Hall of Fame. Like Skip Bayless said, Andrew Luck. He's a lock for the Hall of Fame. Just put him in the Hall of Fame. But regardless, he has done some good things since he's been in the league. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, he has carried their team, and that they've overachieved for sure. And they could not have done that if Andrew Luck wasn't, playing at a high level. Now, that first year they went to the playoffs and beat the Chiefs. Now, I question that one, but it is what it is. Hey, sometimes it's better. What's that saying? It's better to be lucky than good. I mean, you had all the Kansas City Chiefs players. It's like somebody had voodoo dolls, and they was just like sticking them. And man, I mean, everybody on the Kansas City defense was just going down. I mean, they had a big lead too. They had a big lead on the Colts, and then just all of a sudden, everybody just started getting injured. Everybody in the secondary started getting injured. All the key players started getting injured all of a sudden, and he was able to bring them back from the mess that he made. So he's been getting beat up, man. He's been getting beat up over his career. I mean, what was that he had? Did he have I can't remember whether it was him or Grunt, but he had like a ruptured spleen or something. It's some weird injury like that. Like, one thing, man, I get these NFL players, bro, and that's what I talk about with sacrifices. Like, everybody wants to live their life. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be this, that, and third, but it comes with sacrifice. Seriously, could you guys imagine? First of all, I couldn't even imagine. I barely want to go to work with a cold. Could you imagine being Tony Romo and being out there playing with broken ribs? What? I mean, seriously, could you even imagine how that would feel if your ribs were broken? A ruptured spleen, back spasms, all that crap. Like these athletes deal with so much stuff, man. Like, they deal with a whole bunch of injuries, a whole bunch of surgeries, take a whole bunch of shots. Like, they get paid millions of dollars to do it, but man, it comes at a price. That's for sure. And Andrew Luck has been getting tossed around a little bit, man. Now, he's a big guy. A lot of that, even though I guess some of it was, Pep Hamilton kind of became the scapegoat, which, hey, where have I heard that before? A black coach getting tossed as a scapegoat. But whatever. In that offense, Andrew Luck did kind of hold the ball a little bit too long. He does have a tendency to do that. He has a tendency to do that because he wants the big play. And I think a lot of that comes from him just realizing that, man, my roster's just not that good. We need to make the big play. You know what I'm saying? He does have T.Y. Hilton, who's a deep play guy. I mean, he's a great receiver, but he definitely excels on the, going deep and all that stuff. But like I was saying, man, if I'm a Colts fan, I'm worried. You mean tell me this guy has not thrown an NFL-sized football? That's just like that's just like it's like an NBA player playing with I I don't know, playing with a peewee ball or something. Like, hey, I'm gonna play with this peewee ball to work on my shooting form. Like, I'd be worried. I mean, maybe he's ready for OTAs and all that, mini camp, preseason. He's gonna need the reps. Like Peyton Manning said, he needs reps. He needs reps. That's the only way that he's gonna get back into it, man. And all this talk about him changing his throwing motion and all that. I mean, damn. You know, they say, what's that saying? Regression to the mean. I mean, he gets out there, he's probably gonna end up just doing the same thing that he's been doing his whole career, throwing it how he's been throwing it. So, and I like what the Colts have done this offseason. I mean, they went and got they went and got some offensive line help, right? They drafted what's his name? They drafted Quentin Nelson, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they drafted Quentin Nelson, and they also they went in, even though Eric Ebron is like I really don't like Eric Ebron, but I think that he could do some things. He's an upgrade over whatever. He's an upgrade over whatever they had at tight end last year. Well, not necessarily an upgrade, but he's gonna go well. He's gonna do well with Andrew Luck. I think he'll do okay with Andrew Luck. I mean, athletic guy. He can do some things. He's gonna make you cry because he's gonna drop balls, but he will also, you know, surprise you sometimes. You're like, damn, okay, now I see why he was a first round pick. And sometimes guys just need a change of scenery. Maybe Detroit just wasn't the place for him. So they did that. They got some defensive help. Like they've been making some moves. They've improved the roster. Now, does that mean that they're about to go to the Super Bowl or anything of that nature? I don't know about all that. But, I mean, it's an improved roster. But they need their quarterback, man. They need the gunslinger back there. Andrew Luck. Put him in the Hall of Fame, man. So, anyway, man, we'll see what happens with that. See what happens, man. As more news comes out about it. You know, mini camps will be starting soon. So we'll see what happens with Andrew Luck, man. Maybe he'll start. Maybe he'll start throwing at minicamp or whatever. But who knows? We'll see. Also, Brandon Marshall signed with the Seattle Seahawks. Brandon Marshall played with the Giants last year and ended up getting injured, and he got released by them earlier this year. Now, as far as like a grade or how impactful this signing is for real, I don't know, because I have doubts that Brandon Marshall will even make the roster. I'm just going to be honest. Brandon Marshall is at the end of his career. I'm not saying he can't be beneficial to some team. I just don't know how beneficial he'll be to the Seahawks. Now, granted, the Seahawks, they lost Paul Richardson. They still have Tyler Lockett, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, they have Doug Baldwin, who has been very good for them, very solid. Still have Russell Wilson back there. Still trying to figure out what they're going to do with the running game. I don't know. Does Eddie Lacy still play for them? I know they drafted Rashad Penny, their first-round draft pick. So maybe he comes in and makes a very big impact or whatever. But Brandon Marshall signing, I'm not really that excited about. Like I said, because I'm not even for sure if he makes the roster. I mean, he's been injured the past few years. Even when he hasn't been injured, he hasn't been that. Even though he did do pretty good, I guess he was okay in New York, I guess. But he's one of those big receivers who, you know, toward the end of their careers, they wear down pretty fast. You know, you got like Marcus Colston and those type of guys. So he's wearing down, is what I'm saying. And I have my doubts that he'll actually make the final roster. But, I mean, if he does, he'll provide them with some type of big target for Russell Wilson, which I'm not for sure Russell Wilson has ever had that. Maybe he had it with some undrafted free agent out of North Dakota somewhere. I don't know. You know how the Seahawks really don't put that much value into yeah, we got to have this big play number one wide receiver. They've always been built off, what Russell Wilson can do for them, running around everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And defense. Now that defense is going to be interesting to look at, man. They've lost some pieces. They lost Bennett. Hell, according to who you want to listen to, they might lose Earl Thomas. There have been reports out there that he's been on a trading block or whatever, that they are open to dealing him. We know Cam Chancellor still be there or whatever, but I mean it's gonna look different, right? I mean they want no Richard Sherman this year. No Richard Sherman. Got injured last year, and he ultimately ended up signing with the 49ers or whatever. So it'll be a different look defense. So, but the Brandon Marshall sign, I'm not that excited about. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like Dion saying, it's all right, but I don't think that he'll make the roster. So just my 2 cents on that real fast. And finally, you got Teddy Bridgewater, the quarterback for the New York Jets, making noise in OTAs. Now, of course, with OTAs, man, you always hear coaches and stuff say, hey, this guy's been doing very well. This guy's looking good. I mean, they always say that, right? I mean, this is the time of the year, OTAs, voluntary workouts or whatever. I mean, before the season starts, everybody is so confident about their teams, right? Oh, we look good. They look so good in practices. They look so good during the preseason. And then when the season comes, they don't do anything. Just food for thought. But regardless, apparently Teddy Bridgewater is looking pretty good in OTAs in New York. And I think that that's a very good thing. I really hope that Teddy Bridgewater gets a real shot at starting. Now, I don't think that it will be in New York. McCown actually played pretty well for them last year before he got injured. He was playing pretty well. Obviously they drafted Sam Darnold out of USC. So, I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. But I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater plays into that scenario. I could see them getting rid of him somehow, either releasing him, letting him go on about his business, or trading him. Maybe some quarterback gets injured before the season starts and you end up with a Minnesota Philadelphia Eagles type scenario where the Eagles traded Sam Bradford to Minnesota for a first round pick. Now, I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater would warrant a first round pick, but I'm just saying you may end up with a situation like that. And I think I read somewhere that that there are conspiracy theories out there that maybe that was the reason that the Jets decided to sign Teddy Bridgewater. It's like, okay, well, you know what? If we can build his value up a little bit, well, hell, we can sign him, for dirt cheap, basically, and trade him and get a pick out of it. So maybe that's what they end up doing. Maybe that's how the chips end up falling. But, yeah, man, I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan. I hate that happened to him. I hate he got injured. For you guys who don't know, got injured during a practice, a bad leg injury. Like, it probably was one of those, I think it was one of those, like Paul George, Gordon Hayward type injuries where guys are vomiting, just so shocked at what they're seeing. It's one of those type of injuries. Doctors like, man, he may not have a career. So his career was in doubt. So he was able to rehab from that. He missed all of last season. He basically missed 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. But he played the last game of last season, but he missed the previous season. He missed all of the previous season, basically. You know what I'm saying? So he's been out a long ass time. Let me put it like that. So I'm rooting for him, man. I'm rooting for Bridgewater, bro. I mean, I knew Bridgewater. I was a big fan of him in Louisville. I thought that he was a good guy. He was a good kid. He was a damn good quarterback. I still don't understand how he fell the way he fell, but it is what it is, I guess. He made a throw against Florida. Like, this is how I knew Teddy Bridgewater was going to be good, or what made me just kind of fall in love with him. he made a throw against Florida in that, I think it was the Sugar Bowl. I can't remember what bowl it was, but it was against Florida. It was a game that nobody really gave him a chance to win, by the way. And they ended up winning. But he went up against Florida, and he rolled to his right, and he got walloped by John Bostic, which I don't know who John Bostic plays for now. I know he's playing for the Bears, and then he's playing for the Patriots. I think he's still in the league, but he was like John Bostic's like this big ass linebacker truck, just a monster truck of a guy, just built, jacked. I mean, he hit the hell out of Teddy Bridgewater. So he's rolling to his right. He lost a throw, man, into double coverage toward the sideline. Right? He's running to his right. He throws the ball, and it just drops so neatly, like, into the receiver's hands. He dropped it over two defenders, rolling right, throwing right, taking a hit, and the ball just landed. It couldn't, like, that's one of those throws you like, oh yeah. I can tell you this, Josh Allen ain't making that throw. He ain't making that throw, partner. You got that's what I say with the quarterback position, man. You got to be able to throw with touch, and Teddy Bridgewater could throw with touch. You got to be able to know how to take something off the ball. You can't just throw it 100 miles an hour all the damn time. It's not gonna work. Josh Allen ain't making that throw. Ryan Mallett ain't making that throw. I promise you. I mean, seriously. I mean, you probably go look it up on YouTube. Matter of fact, I know you could. Roll to his right. Like, just dropped it in there so just neatly. Like, you couldn't have asked for anything better. It couldn't have been a better throw. So I hope he gets this opportunity, man. I actually tweeted this out. I would love to see him go to somewhere like Jacksonville and compete with Blake Bortles. Which, hey, if you're competing against a trash can, you should compete. You should win, because that's what Blake Bortles is. He's a trash can. Just big trash can back there. That's what he is. Him and Jalen Hurts. Big old trash cans, if you ask me. So I would love to see him go to somewhere like Jacksonville, man. Similar situation that he had in Minnesota. You know, Minnesota, they got their defense. They got a running game. Jacksonville, same thing. They got their defense. They got the running game with Leonard Fournette. I think that he would definitely be an upgrade over Blake Bortles for sure. You know? I would love to see him go down there and at least compete. But I know that's not going to happen because Jacksonville re-signed Blake Bortles or whatever. And they're all in on Blake Bortles, it looks like, for some odd reason. Whatever Shad Khan's down there smoking on. But yeah, man, Bridgewater making noise on OTAs. I hope that he ends up getting a legitimate shot somewhere to start, because I think that I think that Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback in the league. If Case Keenum's a starting quarterback somehow, some way, I think Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback. Hey, that's just me. I understand he had the injury that could, scare some teams off. I get that. But I think that he should get an opportunity. He should get a legit opportunity somewhere, not just filling a roster spot. You know, took his team to the playoffs, and if the idiot kicker could have made like a 30-some yard field goal, a chip shot field goal, they would have won that game. But he couldn't make the damn field goal, so they lost. And who knows? Who knows what would have happened? Maybe Teddy Bridgewater would have been Case Keenum. You know, leading those guys to the playoffs. Who knows? I just hope he gets a legitimate opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Because I am a Bridgewater fan, and I'm rooting for him. And once again, I am unapologetic about rooting for black quarterbacks, black players. Unapologetic about it, black coaches. So I'm rooting for him, man. So shout out to Teddy Bridgewater. So I think I'll save my Pusha T Drake thoughts for Saturday's podcast. For you guys who don't know, unless I say otherwise, I usually put out a podcast on Saturdays, usually around 20-25 minutes long. Try not to make it as long as the regular podcast episodes throughout the week. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be talking about that, and I want to get into this. Story coming out of Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. It's the story about the guy running around naked, and he gets shot on camera. The body camera catches the whole interaction between him and the police. I want to get on there, man, because I gotta. Let me put it like this: I got a rant coming, and some of y'all might not like me for what I'm gonna say about that whole situation. A lot of people playing both sides here. Well, they're not really playing both sides. They're being one-sided, I guess I should say. Like, we got to be objective with certain stuff, man. So be on the lookout for that, man. I'm telling you, rant inbound. I'm telling you, real talk. Cheap Truth Rant Saturday. Be on the lookout. So I'm talking about the Pusha T Drake thing, and that whole beef or whatever. Who knows? Maybe Drake puts out a diss before then, but regardless, I'll be talking about it, and I'll be talking about that video. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day, man. Shouting out, signing out, I guess I should say. Cheap Truth. Holla.